Hey everybody! In this month's Hero Arts My Monthly Hero Kit video, I am going to show you this fun hack for masking with dyes and creating fun, kind of funky backgrounds. So this is this month's kit. It's so awesome because it's stay-at-home themed, which I think we can all relate to. It comes with a word die in the dies that says greetings from. And then there are a bunch of sentiments that mean home. So greetings from all the ways that you think of your home. It's very fun, and all of the images are coordinated with things that you love about your home. So to begin with, I have a piece of masking paper set up in my MISTI, and I've arranged some of the images from the kit to accommodate both a sentiment and another kit image that I'm going to be using. So I have them arranged so that they fit a card front. And that woman on the lounge chair is the image I'll have lower right. So I will pick all these up at the same time with the lid of my MISTI. This is the new MISTI 2.0. So I will link you to that. It has some fun new features. I'm inking this up in Hero Hue's Pool Party. This is a reactive ink, but I love the way that it stamps because it has a pigment component. So it gives really good coverage, especially on new stamps. So I'm stamping these onto the masking paper, and I will be die cutting these. So I'm going to show you how I detab my dies. I like them when they come all together like this because it means I can cut a bunch of shapes at once because I'm super lazy. But I just get a microfiber towel and my wire snips, which I'll link you to. They have a very fine point. And I just get up next to the die. Now, where the dies are nested, sometimes you can have an extra little tab that sticks out after you've cut one of the dies away from it, and that's what the towel is for. I will just put the die little tab down into the towel and snip it off like I did there, and then it goes into the towel and you don't have to worry about it flying under your desk where you're never going to find it. The towel catches it, and microfiber is especially magical for this. Now I will take some 3M Post-it tape and tape each one of the dies around their matching images. And before you freak out about how much tape I'm using, I reuse all of my tape, and you're going to see me use it several times here. This tape has a low tack that doesn't hurt your surfaces, but enough tack that you can use it 20 or 30 times or even more. The entire side of my ink pad holder is covered with pieces of used 3M Post-it note tape. And I also have a bunch next to my die cutting machine because I just find it invaluable when I'm die cutting to keep my dies from moving. So I'll tape all of these down. I personally chose images from this set that represented things I love about my own home. Home has always been my favorite place. I don't mind being asked to stay at home. It's pretty much my favorite. So I chose the little cat. I chose some gardening images. I chose some of my favorite furniture. I chose a fire pit, which we have in our backyard, a wind chime, which my neighbor has. I don't have, but I enjoy it. And a big giant architectural plant that reminds me of the ginger plant that's in my backyard. There's also a watering can because I go out in the yard and water my plants every morning and have coffee, and it's one of my favorite times of day. I love that this set celebrates all of those things that I love. So I'll just place my magnet where I had left a little void for the sentiment to hold my card front down. And now you're going to see the fun hack. So the key is leave the stamps set up the way they were when you stamped them on the masking paper. This is very important. I'm inking them in the same Pool Party ink and stamping them onto the card front. And just in case I didn't get a perfect image, I will stamp it again. And you can stamp it as many times for however intense you want the ink. I love this aqua. It's such like a hot 50s aqua. It's so much fun. So this is one of my favorite colors. Now always make sure that your paper's in the corner of your MISTI before you go pick up any little bits you might have missed. I missed a bit of the fire pit and one of the leaves. When you have multiple stamps set up on your MISTI, this will happen sometimes because not every stamp is exactly the same. So don't be frustrated if you need to apply a little more pressure on one or two. They're meant to stamp by themselves, not with other images. Now here's the genius hack part. So the piece of masking paper that I cut the images out of is now a perfect template for me to cover these images with the masks. So I leave the backing sheet on, so the back of this is not sticky, and I just need to line it up around my images, my stamped images, with the negative space perfectly aligned. Then I will use some of the pieces of tape that I use for the dies to secure that to the back of the masking paper. Now I will remove the backing from the mask for the images themselves and fit them back through the opening. So they will be stuck to the cardstock, but the larger piece containing the negative spaces will not, and I can just lift it off. How fun is that? So fun. I am placing these super easily. There's no lining up to do because the opening perfectly matches what you die cut for obvious reasons. So you can make really quick work of this. Now you will just remove the unadhered sheet from the cardstock. And there I have all my images perfectly masked and I'm ready for the background. What I want to do is create what I consider to be kind of a cobblestone look, since a lot of these images are themed for my garden. That's what I chose. I thought it would be fun to have something that looked like a little garden path in the background, sort of subtle texture. So again, I'm taking a couple of pieces of the tape that I used and taping my cardstock to the back of the stencil. You can also use pixie spray, whatever you like. I use both. And I have a life-changing blender brush, and I'm just using a scrap piece of MISTI paper to make sure that I don't get this all over my desk. Now this is lemon drop ink, and I am just brushing it onto the card front on top of the masked images until I have a nice bright yellow, which is so pretty with that pool party. These colors play really, really well together. Then I will remove the stencil, take the tape off the back, and do one last thing, and this is what really makes the images pop. I'm taking some more ink on the brush, and I'm making sure that I go all the way around the edge of each image. And the reason for this is the stencil has left white space in between the shapes. Where that white space touches the white space around the masked image, it will give an uneven border to the image. And I want the images to pop really crisply in that die cut little margin around the stamped images. So just going around with a little bit of ink makes that white space around each shape really, really pop. And you'll see what I mean when I remove the masks. And of course, I'm still preserving that beautiful texture in the background. So see when I pull these up, how there's that little halo around each image that's perfectly crisp and white. If I had had those perfectly white intersections leading up to the image, these would not be as distinct. And trust me, because I've done it both ways. So I find that this really helps, and it doesn't obscure the pattern in the background. You still get all of that beautiful texture. So make sure that you don't tear the masks when you're removing them, and then put them on the acetate that comes with your stamp set, because you can keep these masks for as long as you have the stamp set and never have to die cut another mask if you like this technique. So I do always keep my masks once I've created them. See how the aqua pops against the yellow? That is such a fun color combination. So bright and happy. And it reminds me of long summer days in my Texas backyard with all the colors of summer. So here you can see the crisp edges, the beautiful little details of all of these images that make my home my favorite place to be. So I have lots more samples with other items from this month's release that I will show you here, but here's the finished card with the other die cut and that sweet, sweet greeting. Take a look through my other samples and then, of course, head over to my blog for a very generous giveaway from Hero Arts and more peeks at this month's release and some more inspiration from some very talented artists. Head to my blog, link is in the description, and thanks so much for watching.